Boom, we're live. How's it going, D?
It's going amazing, man. Today's amazing.
Tell me why today is amazing.
Well, there's a couple of reasons.
The sun is out.
Okay. Well, so it was snowing a minute ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was snowing a minute ago. But sometimes you listen. The one thing I realized, if you're one of those people that is affected by the weather, which I know a lot of people that are affected by the weather, it's like that seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Don't live in Ohio.
The question is, who isn't affected by seasonal weather? Because when it's sunny out,
I know.
it just seems like the world is better.
It is. That's why I was saying it's an amazing day to like psych my mind out because it was snowing. But the other reason is, listen, man, like every Friday I have a marketing meeting with basically my biggest client, right?
Got it.
It's a standing meeting. It's a great meeting because we stay on track through the week because we have these marketing meetings. But I'm one of those people that's like a procrastinator. So like a lot of times I have like this Friday stress because I'm trying to get everything done before the meeting because it'd be like you got to present stuff or like, hey, whatever happened to that project? And it's like, oh, I didn't do it. It's like, okay, well, these people are paying me to be effective, right?
Sure.
And it's a great relationship, but it's just I woke up this morning and I got an email that said, hey, well, first of all, I seen the canceled event. That was the first thing that happened, right? So I saw that come through my phone, like a meeting canceled. And I was like, wait, was that a mistake? Because sometimes what they'll do is they'll just want to use a new Zoom link or something like that. So they'll cancel the event and then create another event in its place. But then another email came through and just said, hey guys, too many people are at the office today. Meetings canceled. I was supposed to send this out yesterday. I was like, I could have knew this information yesterday. My whole night yesterday, last night would have been totally different.
Yeah, I would have stayed out.
Yeah. So, but I woke up to that. So I worked on my stuff today. Like I made today about myself.
Oh my gosh, that
felt good.
That's what I do on Fridays. I go hard during the week, and on Fridays it's like my day for content creation, my day to work on projects that I want to work on. And it does feel good to have that day for myself. But I've had some weird experiences this week too, because it's like, a client calls you and they're like, "Can we have a meeting?" And you're like, "Oh, I don't really want to meet with you." And it's not that it's not that I don't like them, right? But I just feel like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's going on? Like you start like it's like the worst feeling. They just randomly like the one email, like, "Can we meet this week?" Question mark. And I want to be like, what about? Like, is everything okay? Like, who knows? Maybe that's a sign.
Yeah. That's a flaw in communication. Because can you hear any surrounding noise?
No.
Great. I love technology because there's a lot of things going on around me. Okay. But I hear airplanes and stuff like that. But anyway,
I hear nothing.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you a little hack for okay. This is not a hack. This is a situation that I experience a lot. And that same thing you said about not knowing what's it about, I actually realized that affects me in a negative way. Okay. And also too, where I'm at in my life, we've had countless conversations about time, how precious our time is becoming to ourselves as we get older and things like that. So when somebody texts me, right, and there's a specific person I'm thinking about that is guilty of this all the time, to the point where I had a conversation with them because they were family, that they kind of got offended by it, but they were like, whatever, I'm going to do what you said. And it was a cousin of mine who wanted me to help him with his business. Just wanted me to give him a bunch of advice. And what he was doing is he was texting me all the time. Oh no, he was calling me all the time. And then I wouldn't answer. And the reason I didn't answer is because I knew that he did not care about his time. So therefore he don't care about other people's time. And the reason I say that is because I was going through this experience where I understand that sometimes you become somebody's people be trying to take your time and monopolize what you're about to do today. For example, he's calling me at 2:00. My day might already be totally planned out where I can't jump on a 30-minute call with you, right? But he's using me to get something done for himself, right? So I said, hey, man, when you call me, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into when I answer.
Yeah.
I could be stepping into a trap where I have to be like, all right, man, this sounds like a consulting call. Can we schedule this? Right. So I said, he was like, but sometimes it just be something simple like, hey, what's that software you use? And I said, that's when you text somebody. Because when you call me and I don't answer, if you text me like, hey, man, I just want to talk to you for 5 minutes about that software you told me about. Now I know what I'm getting myself into, and I can decide I do got 5 minutes. And I was like, you think that that's me treating you like you're not family? No, it's because I understand that like every day, all these things are coming my way, trying to take my time. This person wants to meet about this person. And if they said, hey, I want to meet about this, it is 3 things, I could be like, oh, sweet. One of those things, I'll send you a Loom on one of those today. And those other 2 things, maybe we can meet about those next week because they don't seem like priority. Because to them, it's a priority, right? Like urgency is overrated for sure. So when they sent you that email, say, can we meet? Just you saying that made me just realize that like it's the flaw in people's communication because our communication got better with my cousin because he started following that rule. And he was like, bro, it's like you were right. Like I'll call you, won't answer, I'll text you, and then you'll like text me back some stuff. And it's just like, yeah, because it's not that I don't want to talk to you. I just don't want you to be taking my time and controlling my time based off the things you're trying to get done in life. I'm trying to get the stuff done in life too. So and I think with even me and you, I call you sometimes, you don't answer. That's how you know it's not important. You call me sometimes and I don't answer. Sometimes you'll text me. And then it's like, if obviously if I'm able, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more urgent. I'll try to call you back quicker. But sometimes it's just like, hey, I want to run an idea by you. It wasn't going to make or break the idea. And I think that that's healthy communication, you know. So I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Hey, communication is important.
It is. Yeah. Especially if you want to get responses from people, provide them with some information to allow them to respond.
Some context. Yeah. Give me some context of what's going to happen. That way I'm not like, I can handle it appropriately. That way, if it is urgent, I can get back to you right away and you don't feel a certain way. Or, you can say, hey, don't worry about it. And it allows me not to have anxiety.
I think that I'm going to put some stuff in my signature in my email. And it's going to be just like basically like my communication protocols. So I'm going to say, my goal is to provide effective communication. And, if you email me, I'm going to try to get back to you with an appropriate time, but my email isn't text, right? If it's an emergency, text me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible because I understand it might be an emergency. And I would just say, because I had a situation, I think I told you, but somebody emailed me like, can you call me? And I didn't call them right away. And they text me, are you okay? And I'm realizing that people think email is like text messages. And also too, I gave this person, it's not even their fault. I'm taking 100% responsibility. I let them think that they can do that.
That because you didn't answer, they're like, why didn't this guy answer right away?
Yeah. So yeah. Communication.
Communication is key, but today is not about communication. Today is about motivation.
Motivation.
So this was a specific topic that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited because I feel like you spit me with some knowledge about motivation. And maybe you could share it with the world, but I don't remember where you got it from or if it just happened, but
yeah, this was from definitely somebody else much smarter, which I realize at this point, like we try to give people credit for coming up with ideas, but these things are so regurgitated and spin around, thrown through Chat GPT and changed up, and they the same format.
Well, funny enough, right now I'm going through a communication how to speak on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And what he says, he said, you have to find other speakers that you like that you can emulate from.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, how do you think a chef becomes a good chef? Well, they have to grab someone else's recipe, right? They have to
Mm-hmm.
study under somebody in some
Mm-hmm.
way, grab their recipe, and then after they've mastered the recipe, then they can add that twist of lemon and
Yeah.
that changes it. Now it's theirs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. Like all this stuff gets passed around. I think what happens is someone takes it, makes it
Mm-hmm.
better. Someone
Yeah.
grabs it, makes it better. And
Yeah.
now you heard it, which now you're going to share it with us and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
put a little twist on it that
Mm-hmm.
makes it better. So it's
Yeah.
always allowing it to evolve. So I guess at this point, like the Chris Do thing, man, at this point, it's
Yeah.
like,
Well, I appreciate you teeing it up like that because I actually do have a little twist on it. And it's not that innovative of a twist, but it is something I made. I made based off my perspective, but a lot
mm-hmm,
of it really comes from me and yours relationship over the past 13 years that we've been knowing each other. Because I've realized too that what motivates you can change depending on what phase of your life you're in or where you are. I hate the word season, what season of your life, but it makes sense to use that. And also too, like a lot of times people might have different motivations, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only thing that motivates them. That's just their primary motivation, and there's probably like some sort of order. And it comes down to like I think that you're more effective when you don't lie to yourself.
mm,
And so I'll just list the 4 motivations, the categories, kind of describe them, and then I just want to have a conversation with you to see like maybe what is your primary one, or if you can rank them in order of primary to least important. But I imagine that for some people, they probably have all these motivations or a couple of them. It's not just one. Like you have to choose one because that doesn't make sense. Um, so not the first one, and there's no importance to these, there's like no order. But the first one is money. Are you motivated by money? Right. And I look at it more than just the actual dollar bills, or I look at it what you can do with money. Maybe the freedom that it gives you, the flexibility that it gives you. You can move slow. You don't have to move fast no more because you know you got money. You can take your time. You can extend your vacation. Just randomly, like, hey, I'm going to stay here an extra week. Like that type of what you could do with money, right? And then the second one is mastery. And mastery is just those people that like to go deep into things. They like to get into the weeds, but they also can bore you with the process of
mm.
how to make a steak, the best steak. And they like, oh, I get the onions from the market and I do this. And those people who they love the process and mastering some sort of aspect of it. And the third one is membership, right? Belonging to a community, belonging to a tribe, wanting to be a part of something. Which I think every human has an aspect of that, but sometimes it's somebody's primary motivation, like they want to belong. And the fourth one is mission. This is like almost like a purpose-driven life. Like you're really more connected to like why you are here, what you're good at, and being connected to like maybe being fulfilled in what you're doing, or some sort of like it's a connection with this is what I'm supposed to be doing type thing, right? I'm on a mission. I was put here to do this. I was put here to teach people or help people or whatever. And when you say the 4 of them, it's like, well, yeah, I'm motivated by money, right? But is that my primary one? So I'm just curious now that I explained it, what like how would you respond to that just based off you? It's like freestyle.
Yeah, as I try to think about, okay, what motivates me? And I don't think it's money. So let's go down the list, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we go back and forth, right? So are you motivated by money?
I mean, the money's in there somewhere. Like,
yeah, you like, okay, so let
yeah,
me ask you this.
it's not my
If
primary,
the
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So if there is, let's say, a scale of all of these, right? You're like,
Okay.
hey, I have like love language, right? My love
Yeah.
language initially is touch, and
Yeah.
or maybe it's initially words of affirmation, but then I like touch.
Yeah.
but touch is not as important as words of affirmation.
Mhm.
I'm assuming this could be in the same realm, right?
Yeah,
Because the money is a factor,
yeah, it
but it doesn't
is.
have to be the driving factor.
Exactly. It's definitely not the driving for me at all.
All right. I don't feel that way for me either. I
Yeah.
feel like, well, ooh,
What could I okay,
money
remember I
money
said
is the
season. Do you think it was
okay.
at one point?
Oh, of course.
Because I think when I first met you, that's actually I think what even attracted me to wanting to be your friend and be in your life was you definitely when I first met okay, so when I first met you, I was coming out of more of my artistic phase, right?
Mm.
And I knew that I needed to make money. And soon as we started working together, you were like, let's make some money. And we made a lot of money.
Yeah.
That was because of you, though. That was because even if it wasn't your primary, even if it wasn't your primary motivation,
Back then, it
just
was my primary motivation.
listen. I'm just letting you know that when I got connected with you, we started making money pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
So the only reason I'm saying that is because now we're talking about the poker mic, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you're in a different phase. So go ahead. I just want to add that little piece where it's like I kind of agree with you. Is a little bit, I guess, what I'm saying.
But
I
I'm
think
but I'm also being smart.
yeah,
So motivate money is a motivating factor. It's probably like the secondary factor because even if you say poker Mike, right? Poker
yeah,
Mike knows that there's more money in the business of poker than there is playing poker.
yeah,
But I have to play poker to be in the business of poker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I do recognize that. So there that is a driving factor because if it was just about me playing poker, like I wouldn't be
Mhm.
writing books, I wouldn't be trying to create a webinar, I wouldn't be trying to do
So
a
are you in
course.
the is it mastery maybe?
Ooh. See, I do. What are the other ones? Give me money mastery.
A mission, your purpose, which is your purpose, and then membership, which is belonging to a community, or even just wanting to build a community. It could be wanting to be a part, or just community tribe is a part of what motivates you.
So membership is definitely not one of them because
Mhm.
I feel like I'm a
Yeah,
solo bird.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm the hawk in the air. I don't even got friends.
No, I agree with you. I think I feel the same way. I feel
So
the
I
same
don't
way.
need to be a part of something that don't motivate me, but
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see how other people like get motivated by that.
Like for
Like I
example,
want
I'm gonna ask you a question about your family because this is my. I'll tell you my answer first. Being with my wife and kids and doing stuff with them and going on vacations and having fun with my family definitely is enough for me. I do have friends, but they're just like you, where like, they have families, they're busy, so we do
Mhm.
a stuff when we can. Um, but my family is enough, I guess, to be like my community is like my family. I don't know if that sounds corny, but that's enough for me. I don't know how it is for you.
Is that one of them? So you when you're dropping them because I feel like that's one of my motivations too, right? So if
Yeah.
where does
Well, I
if
guess I'm saying that membership is not one of my motivations.
yeah, fair enough.
I
Me
get
too.
that with my family for free, and I don't need to be belong to no other external groups. I guess is what I'm saying.
I agree.
Okay.
All right. So if it's not money or if money's secondary and membership is not even involved, the other one you mentioned
So
was
it's mission
mission.
and mastery are the two that are left for you to choose.
Mm. Well, mission is going to be like, hey, I want to save the world.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's more purpose driven. You're doing something that fulfills you in a way that's very deep. Um,
No.
okay.
Well, but listen, but the reason why, because again, I think of if I'm out, if what I'm doing right now is taking money and weighing it against the other ones, right? So it's like money over membership, money,
Yeah,
money over purpose,
yeah,
money again. Only because purpose for me, I mean, I have a purpose, but it's not my driving factor. I feel
yeah,
like there's people out there who have a purpose, and I'm gonna save the world type thing, right? They want to save the trees, and
yeah,
they will live on the streets to save the trees. And I'm
yeah.
like, no, I'm
I'll
okay with
accept
that.
that one too. I'll accept that as another definition for mission for sure. You're trying to do something big. Maybe it's something you're trying to do something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Like we
Nope.
might,
Again, it's a no.
it sounds like we're in the same phase of our life, brother.
Yeah,
Just maybe
we're
it's a different season of it. Like I mean, a different concoction, but it's the same primary because it sounds like it's mastery.
I do like mastery.
Yeah,
And maybe it's if we go a deep level into
yeah,
mastery, if you're like,
yeah,
why do you like mastery? Right? That
yeah,
ask me why 3 times. But at the core of it, maybe it's because I want to sound smart.
yeah,
I want people to look at me. That happened to me yesterday, right? I'm on this training and I'm out there and not that it was like purposeful, but I'm out there and I'm telling them
yeah,
ads and I'm like this and I'm like that. And all of a sudden these guys are like, you're so smart.
yeah,
I'm like, really?
yeah,
I'm smart? And it
yeah,
felt good, right? Um, and maybe that's the thing with the poker stuff right now. It's like
yeah,
my goal right now is to I want to win a title, a poker
yeah,
title, a bracelet,
yeah,
mastery.
yeah,
That's my purpose, right? It's
yeah.
mastery so that
Well,
I can get respect.
mm-hmm. You're bringing on an element that I didn't necessarily think about the why. I just know it's mastery for me, and
Yeah.
then he's probably second for sure. Um, but you just broke it down, and as you were saying it, I listen. I too want people to think I'm smart.
Yeah.
I think my biggest reason why is because I dropped out of college twice, so I have no degree. So I've always had that element of like, technically, I'm a high school graduate. Even though I did go to college twice and I did learn a lot, um, I just want to be respected as a smart person, as an expert, you know, and
Can we go
something.
deep right Can we go deep right now?
Let's
It's
go
about to get
deep.
weird. It's
Let's
about to get
not
weird.
and never get weird. Let's go. Let's do it.
We might lose some followers.
It's okay.
All right, so I'm a Puerto Rican male.
Yeah.
You're a black man.
Yeah.
And as a Puerto Rican male, I moved from Cleveland
Mm-hmm.
to Westlake in high school,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was 13, 14. So my neighbors were Mexican and Puerto Rican, and there weren't really white people around. I mean, very
Mm-hmm.
few. It was more Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
And, not that Cleveland is the slums, but let's just say it was not like the best area,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I went to high school, it was almost like I had this chip on my shoulder
Mm-hmm.
because, now I'm in an all white school. They're rich. Some people are driving Lexuses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my parents won't buy me a Nintendo,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I always felt that I'm gonna say this weird, but I always felt like white people always had it together,
Yeah. I know
right?
what you mean. Yeah.
They're smarter than me, they got more money
Yeah.
than me, and I have to prove myself,
Yeah.
right? So being in this stage of my life, maybe that's the mastery part of it. Like I had to
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
I went hard,
Yeah.
whole college thing. I went crazy there. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cum laude, or whatever hell it's called, right? Like I'm gonna be the best.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because maybe I was always chasing this thing, and I don't think it was till maybe even Columbus, man, where I came into Columbus, and you're talking 33,
Yeah.
35, you
Yeah.
know. I'm like, wait, maybe they're not all smarter
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am as good. And as our journey, there
Mm-hmm.
was times where I'm like, Demetrius, why are you wearing that stuff?
I
That's
was gonna bring that up, bro. I remember that.
yeah,
I
right.
remember
But because
that.
maybe that's in my brain, I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
we gotta be like these. I'm not saying I wanted to be white because I didn't
No,
feel
no, no.
that
I know exactly what you
easily,
mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
but I wanted respect, and I thought
Yeah.
that's what it was.
No, listen, I'm so glad you shared that. I went through that too. I think what happened with me because because I do come from I came from the music industry side of things. I kind of did have that like NWA, Ice Cube, like F the World. So I felt the same way you felt, but I was bucking against the system earlier than you, maybe. But I remember, this is something I tell people all the time. So when I was in high school, I went like junior high, high school, whatever, but this really happened in high school. I was into everything that was cool. So I was into music. I don't care if it was hip hop, rock, alternative, country, whatever. If it was dope music, I wanted to experience it. I was into anime, cartoons, movies, filmmaking, art, but I also was into hip hop. Like I was into like everything. I was like, I'm gonna experience everything that's fun. Like I'm not gonna like let being black like say, well, you can't listen to that music. You can't listen to that, right? But so I was my friend group, and I played sports. So I was in this weird situation in high school where I was friends with jocks. I was friends with black people that didn't really want to fool with white people. I was cool with white people that really didn't understand black people. And I've had so many situations where I was getting pulled in different directions. And there's a specific thing that I tell other black people, and they're like, yep, that happened to me. The black people were telling me that I sounded white. The white people were telling me that I'm the whitest black person they met. So they're saying the same thing to me, which I was like, what is that? And this is what happened. And this is high school. So a lot of these people I educated just over being their friends, and they don't think this way. The black people was basically saying speaking articulate is reserved for white people. Black people are supposed to sound ghetto and just sound hip hoppy when we talk, right? Which was just black people not realizing that they can speak and articulate is for anybody who wants to be successful. White people don't own that. But the white people were basically saying, hey, you sound like me.
Yeah.
Which is articulate, which is you don't own articulate. You don't own good grammar and great communication. So I had to educate black people and white people that like, no, this is just me. I grew up in Southern California. I was always around mixed, diverse communities. And when I came to Ohio, that's when it became super segregated. It was like black, white, Puerto Rican.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. All the Puerto Ricans. Go ahead. You're gonna say.
No, I would say in all the Puerto Rican, we didn't have a ton of Puerto Ricans, but we did have like at least 20 of them. They all just hung out with the black people because it was the most cultural connection back then. And it was like there was this place in my high school, which people used to call it Monkey Island, which is so racist, where all the black people hung out in front of the auditorium. And I would walk by and dap people up, hang out for a second, and then I would go hang and be like, oh, he liked them white people. I was like, bro, I'm in art class. Like, who do you think's in art class with me? Like, I'm in bands. I play saxophone. I'm friends with so many people. My whole point is I struggle with that whole identity of like, am I black? Do I belong? And even when I worked at Apple, when we worked at Apple together, I had 3 customers that didn't want to work with me at Apple because they assumed because I was black that they're probably not going to get the best information. And at the time, I was an expert. And the one thing our managers did at Apple that I love, they said, "Hey, number one is you're not going to work with him because I want to save him from you. But he's the most he understands everything. He's the only expert on the floor right now. So if you want to talk to somebody about anything that we offer, that's who you want to talk to." I've had people. I remember I was telling a lady about what computer she should use, and I said, "Hey, this is the most based off what you told me, this is the most robust option for you." She said, "Robust. That's a great word. I'm so glad you used that word. I love that word." She's like, "How'd you learn that word?" It's like, bitch, I'm smart. That's why. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason I said all that because I just want to let the audience know, but also you, that I understand what you were saying. I went through that myself, but I got a little bit more hip hoppy with it and angry. So by the time me and you started coming together and we would go to a meeting, you'd be like, "That's what you're wearing?" I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna want to work with me or not. I don't care. They gonna accept me. This is how."
Yeah. Well, I guess I guess maybe that's where maybe the transition also helped me because when I went to California, it was so integrated, and maybe it is Cleveland
Yeah.
because Cleveland, there's East Side, West Side.
Yeah. It's
East Side don't go to the West, West don't go to the East.
Yep.
And then you have this middle section, the sliver on West 25th and Fulton. Those are Puerto Ricans.
Yep.
You got whites on the one side, blacks on the other. And maybe that's because of the upbringing. That's how it is,
Yeah.
Because when I went to California, it was a whole new interaction with people, Mexicans, blacks, whites.
Yep.
Like everyone was, and I'm going to use the word normal, but it was like everyone was normal. No one like was trying to be someone that they were not or had to live up to some expectation of society, and it actually felt nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was big. I think that was a great explanation from you on the mastery element, because I think that even helped me understand, like, is that why I like it? You know what I'm saying? Is that why that motivates me? Is because I can always fall back on the fact that, like, I know what I'm talking about, or I'm smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a degree, I don't have this, I don't have that, but at least people respect me for what's in my brain. And I think that it excites me.
Listen, that's a big thing out here because I feel like I see it in a lot of people on, one thing I do appreciate about you is that you are yourself, right? But when I see people who are trying to be people that they're not, it's because they want to be accepted for some reason. And even to the point of, hey, so I have a cousin, right? I haven't talked to his ass in a while. But I have a cousin. I haven't talked to him in like 6 months. Linda came up to me the other day. She goes, "I cannot believe you haven't talked to him."
That's funny. I know exactly the cousin you're talking about too.
Yeah. You haven't talked. If he's listening, he knows.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Cannot believe you guys talked every single day. Then all of a sudden you don't talk to him like over 6 months, maybe going on a year now. I have no idea." I told her, I said, "Now you know I could drop anybody."
Yeah.
It don't matter. My whole point is, as I watch his life and how he wants to be accepted, right? And maybe it's the whole white thing again, right? But all of a sudden he's into country music. And now maybe I'm being stereotypical. But he's like, he goes from one person to another. And I'm like, what? Now you want a truck and you wear flannels and country and
his thing might be membership, man.
It might, oh my gosh, it's totally membership, because he's like, well, I drink the finest, I'm gonna say cognac, but whatever the finest, what's in the old fashions?
Oh,
that's whatever that is. Yeah,
it's
whatever that bourbon,
dark liquor. Yeah,
bourbon. He's like, this bourbon, it's been aged 40 years, and I'm at his house, bunch of, hood white people.
Yeah.
No one cares about no cognac. They're drinking Bud Light.
Oh,
he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing it to have a prestigious.
Yeah.
People to look at him like, oh my gosh, he's drinking cognac or whatever it is.
Do you know that's whole status thing?
That
status thing is a big thing with people.
Is it membership? Is that considered membership?
Because what you're doing, we can go a little bit deeper, and this is why I love this whole psychology of just humans, right? And just it's marketing, it's business, and it's like living.
Oh my gosh. Yes, because this status plays with marketing so hard.
Because you're borrowing from. So if I drink old fashions, every single person that drinks old fashions, all the movies, it's been and I know James Bond doesn't drink old fashions, but say he did. You're borrowing from that. So if you drink old fashioned and somebody sees you drinking it, they're like, "Oh, you must be like them." And you get a lot of same thing while I'm wearing this Mercedes hat, right? Now, I'm wearing it because I actually own a Mercedes. It's an old boy. And I know you still got yours. I ain't trying to get into your business.
Listen, I still got it. Ask me why I bought it.
Why'd you buy it?
To show off to my cousin.
Exactly. Listen,
honestly, that's what it is. And I guess the if this is therapy for you
Yeah,
right now, if you
it
feel
is.
like
Yeah,
you're getting like
yeah,
you're evolving, sometimes we have to get real with ourselves so that
exactly,
we know like you can continue to do the behavior, but at least now you
exactly.
know why you're doing the behavior.
All right, I'm glad now we can get
Oh,
okay.
you
So
went
I have
silent. I can't hear you.
you can't hear me,
Yeah.
mic
But at
check. You
least
can't hear
now
me.
you know you're doing the behavior. And I
Can
think
you hear me?
that's important that when
What?
you are in this, when you're making decisions and like what motivates you, is it like you said, memberships, is it the money, is it other things like
Can you hear me
wow,
now?
it's, that's so strong. And I see like if we talk about personal brand or branding, like status could be that branding. I look at Apple, and when Apple has their new phones come out, he's one of those
Mic
people as
check.
well, right?
Mic check. Mic
But
check.
everybody is getting, they buy the new phone, and that's the first thing they want to show off is look at this new phone. Me just having audio issues. Look, I'm taking over, man. But look at this new phone. It's like this form of status, and but yeah, you were talking about your Mercedes hat.
You still can't hear me?
It's unfortunate we can't hear you. I don't know what happened to you.
Dang. I'm gonna leave and come back in.
But it's all good. I'll try to cover the dead air, even though this is your episode. What's motivating you? I guess that's the question you got to ask yourself these days. What's motivating you? If you're out there and you're thinking about, all right, so is it money? Is it membership? Is it this? Is it that? And just funny to think about that stuff and how does it apply to how you stay motivated. And I think what Demetrius is saying was correct. He was saying things about
Mic check.
how do you things can change for seasons, because I think that season of my life when I was I was more interested in money. It was truly because it was about survival at that point. I was having all these kids, they're all depending on me. My parents abandoned me, they left me in Ohio, and it was like I have no choice but to be successful. I got no choice. There's a lot of people depending on me of for life. Now these kids can have their own jobs, make their own money, and maybe that's why my season is changing because they don't depend on me as much anymore. So, Demetrius, so right now it just shows that you're muted. Maybe you have to unmute yourself, and maybe that'll work.
Can you hear me?
No, you. What is going on? Do you need money to buy a new system? Your
No.
motivation better change.
What the heck is going
man. I wanted to
on?
hear what you had to say.
What the heck is
I
on?
know. Anyways,
I
guess
I have audio.
at the core of this whole thing, I think what's helpful in this podcast that we do every week is when we talk about we wanted to call it the other side. And we wanted to call it the other side because we wanted to show the real and the truth. And I think I appreciate what we have because it allows me to kind of evolve.
Bro,
are you able to switch to your microphone on your Mac?
I did that.
Maybe you have to unplug the microphones and all that stuff to get it to work. I know sometimes my on my volume piece doesn't allow me to select that.
Can you hear me now?
But I don't want to do this by myself. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes before we cut this short. But I appreciate everybody who stayed on and started listening.
Can you hear me now?
So we'll see. Oh, he's calling from his phone. He said, "I got you. I'm coming." All right. Well, that's good. So we're not giving up on this topic. Well, I'm excited for what I'm doing now with Mastery. I'm doing, this poker thing, this webinar. A lot of my clients truly have inspired me to start doing my own thing. Doing a marketing agency. It's always helping other people, and now I have the opportunity to do my own thing. And I'm still in this weird place because my parents like stop gambling. But what they don't know, it's truly a skill to play. And as I create my course, as I create my webinar, give away my free 3 secrets, it feels great. So, but things are good. You should just join from your phone. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. I know it's been like 4 or 5 minutes.
There we go. Right. Listen, they try to stop me, bro.
Is it me?
I don't know, man. I had when I went to the settings, it had all my bars like when I talked. So I don't know if the internet stopped sending this stuff.
What if it was me and I did mute?
You could have.
And I just couldn't hear you. Oh, how weird would that have been?
Yeah, but it's okay. It ain't over. We didn't let it stop. But what were you saying? Because I wanted to say something. And I just couldn't.
I was status.
I remember. No, listen. So I went and bought a Range Rover too. And a lot of my purchasing decisions have been because status is a cheat code. Because what you are able to do is leverage that community, what that community is known for. And if you can infiltrate a community or be perceived that you're a part of a certain community, you get perceived as a higher status.
Membership.
Exactly. So I think that, using it, I do think that it might motivate us. But I would say that it's probably, if we talk about and we talk about it that way, then yeah, it's probably number 3 and mission is number 4.
Right.
Because we both did the same thing. And my brother works for Mercedes now. So he got me all this Mercedes gear because he works for Mercedes in North Olmsted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he got the job and he feels good because he's working for Mercedes.
Yeah.
He don't own a Mercedes, but he works for them. He wears the gear. He has all the tight jackets and polos and stuff. And he feels that he still is borrowing from that community. And we're all doing it. So I don't know. But that when you were talking about your cousin, I think that that's definitely what he does. Because I don't know him. Obviously, I don't know him as much as you know him. And I'm much like, I've never had a problem with him.
Yeah.
But from the time I've known him, I have seen him jump onto different things that are community based. And one of them was, I don't even know if it's still like this, was the motorcycle stuff.
Oh, that's right. No, he doesn't. Well, it went from motorcycles to guns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And before that, it was golf is the first one I experienced. When I started fooling with both of y'all, it was golf. So
he's doing golf now too. All things golf has a certain level of membership status. The bourbon does. Even the guns, right? Because guns are not cheap, right?
Yeah.
You want to buy guns, like some of them are expensive. And he always wants to show off the most expensive one.
So you know what a guy told me about? So when I first got into whiskey and bourbon, I was in, I think within that first couple of months, I was in Detroit and I was at the Motor City Hotel. And they have this really nice, like private kind of like bar.
Mm-hmm.
And my hotel room gave me access to it. And so it was like a little nice little lounge area. And I was at the bar and I was drinking bourbon because I was doing that status stuff. I was trying to get the best bourbon. And this older guy, businessman, he was like probably in his 60s. He was like very, very nice suit, like very put together. He was like, "Oh, you like bourbon?" And I was like, yeah, I just got into it, just learning the brands and all that. He was like, you want to know you want to know the best one? I was like, yeah. He was like, it's whatever you like. It's like, what? I'm thinking you about to give me the cheat codes. To like, if I'm sipping this, they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
look at him. Look, he has that. Look at him. He said it's whatever you like.
But at that point, could you really even know though? Right? Even if you bought the most expensive bourbon and they poured in a glass
Yeah.
and you have two bourbons right next to each other, they both
Yeah.
look bourbon.
Yeah. And I've learned that like that's what it's like. It's one of those situations where if I was honest with myself,
Mhm.
some bourbons that cost more than other bourbons actually taste disgusting to me, and the cheaper one I like better.
Yeah.
And then I also came to a realization that bourbon tastes disgusting in general. And I'm drinking it because I like to drink.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you just got to kind of get ultra realistic with yourself.
I hear you.
It's like, come on, let's be honest. Who really likes? There's probably
Alcohol.
1%, but who really likes like, hey, that Tito's, it tastes delicious.
Yeah.
It
It's not
tastes
like
like alcohol.
yeah, it burns. It's not like lemonade or
You know
like
what it
some
comes to? It comes to what can you stomach?
mm.
It's like, oh, I can stomach that bourbon a little bit better. It's a little bit smoother. The bitterness is not as
Ooh.
pronounced. I don't think they taste good. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point.
yeah, people
Yeah.
people people, people be lying. Yeah, but just to even just to like not necessarily recap, but to kind of wind down the conversation of just I think the ultimate goal reason I want to talk about this, which this was a very enlightening conversation, by the way, Michael, was just like sometimes people don't know what motivates them, and just how we can see what motivates other people, we can manipulate other people, and I don't want to be
Ooh,
somebody that can be manipulated. You
yeah.
know?
Oh, that very much so. I mean, I feel if you talk about membership status manipulation, right? I think maybe my cousin I saw many times where I knew I was being manipulated, but I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Now I have a Mercedes that
yeah.
I don't even care about cars like
You know
that.
what he's doing? You ever seen in a movie where they're at an auction and the other person's driving up the price, and
Yeah.
then the person just gets it and they're like, I drove the price.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing to you.
Dude, it's exactly what he did it all the time. He's like, "You wanna buy this gun? Oh, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Too expensive for you. That's an expensive gun." And I'll be like, "I'll show you. Bank account negative. I'll show you. Ching." And again, what was all that about? But again, it's like that manipulation. I think it was, again, I was saying this earlier when I couldn't hear you. I got now I'm thinking it was my fault, but I think I hit you. I'm on my computer. Everyone else can hear you, but I couldn't. Anyways, but I think when you start to understand yourself more, and
Hmm.
it's not just what you are motivated by, but why you are motivated.
Yeah.
It allows you to make the decisions whether like, okay, I want to keep being motivated by that, or maybe I don't want to be controlled in that way, and maybe something else needs to be motivation.
Exactly. And I do think it comes down to just being happy in life.
Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of the things that I think that I want, I don't think I actually want them to that level. And I give you an example. What's the difference between 20 million and 100 million? Now, obviously, there's a difference,
80
but
million.
like, but my point is I could do a lot of the things I probably want to do with 20 million,
Sure.
and 100 million is just a freaking number that I've never experienced and I've never been there.
Yeah.
So it's just like if my whole life is just on specifically trying to become this, I want to be worth $100 million so I could do all this stuff. It's like Do you even want a yacht? I've been on a yacht. It's like, I don't know if I want one of these. It's cool to go on every 3 years, but I don't know if I want to own one. And I think a lot of it has to do with how you want to be perceived to other people. So that's what I mean by it's like sometimes like we don't want the things we think we want. We want a different thing. We want something else close to it, and we don't realize that it was just next door to what we wanted. Like I don't need 150 cars in my garage. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want to own, an exotic car. And I probably get in that bitch and be like, yeah, I only need one.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Listen, that's how I feel about this Mercedes. I'm like, I don't need to do this again. Go back to my Honda Accords that I like. I could change the oil. It will cost me $500 per oil change.
Yeah.
But funny enough, even though I've done a lot of those things to, whatever, if it's status at that point, I do personally feel I am true to myself.
Yeah.
And I feel you're the same way. And maybe that's why the whole high school event for you of like, hey, I could be with no matter what crowd. My cousin would always say, my younger cousin, just younger, he's like, he goes, I consider you, he would say, a gangster nerd because you would love Tupac. You always, you boxed, you get out there and fight or whatever, be a troublesome person. But then I would love Disney. I would love Disney movies. And then I would love Star Wars and then Legos. Like I didn't care, right? Like, and I feel like I'm also that way today where it's like, hey, I got Legos over there. I got a sword. I got whatever I want, So I think I am comfortable not having, being true to myself and liking the things I like. And I think it's very free. And I tell my kids this because I see one group of my kids are very like trying to stay hip, trying to be with the crowd, trying to be the. And I got another set of kids who are like, hey, I don't even care what I look like.
Yeah.
I just want to have fun. I just want to do this thing. I want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I say to the other group, I said, listen, be yourself. If that's who you are, then great. But do it because you want to do it, not because of other things. So I do appreciate that with myself and my kids. So.
No, I would say definitely for sure. You definitely. Yeah, I would agree with you on your assessment of yourself. I do think that about you, and I think that's why we get along as well. But today was so enlightening that I'm like, what else am I missing? And these are women's glasses, by the way.
Okay, they look okay. They don't look like women's glasses.
They're not mine. They were on the table here, so I just put them on. I think they're my daughter's or my wife's.
They look good. Maybe that's your thing, right? Like we talked about personal branding, and Chris Doe has the hat and the geeky glasses, the thick black ones. Maybe
listen. I'm trolling.
Listen, to me, when you came out, I was ready to be like Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah, that whole thing. So, all right, man. Well, this is a good talk, man. I'm glad we had it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
All right, peace.